We last left off talking about, we got through Jefferson, Monroe, Madison. We finished the War of 1812.
I make an announcement about the blood run.
Yes, hold on one second. Okay, so last time we got through Monroe, and now we're going to get into the age of Jackson. So we're starting off this time period. We're actually going to start off a little bit before Jackson with the Compromise of 1820, also known as the Missouri Compromise. I don't know why I wrote it like that. Missouri Compromise of 1820. So remember, this is the compromise that divided the country. And it said that they're going to create this line for all the territories. So when they eventually become states, they will, the northern territories will become free states. Any territories below that line will be enslaved states. Okay, so create this line because we just talked last time about the Louisiana Purchase, and now they're creating a process where those states will either be defined as free states or slave states. Okay. So far, Missouri Compromise, or Compromise of 1820. So fast forward to the election of 1824. And remember, this is the election often called the corrupt bargain. Remember, no one candidate had a majority of the Electoral College votes. When that happens, the House of Representatives gets to decide on who is president. And the Speaker of the House at the time was Henry Clay. Now, he could not be voted in as president, but he's going to use his power to push most representatives to vote for who? Not Andrew Jackson. It is the other guy. John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams. John Quincy Adams is kind of sees himself as kind of higher status, higher class than most Americans, whereas Andrew Jackson kind of tries to portray himself as the common man, right? Remember this difference? And in his presidency, there's not much we need to actually remember. The biggest thing is going to be the American system. Like following along with your orange book, this is on page 36. So the American system, remember, has 3 parts. What's a part of the American system? Tariffs. So higher tariffs, so other countries have to pay more money to sell in the United States. This is supposed to help American business. What else? Internal improvements. Which are things like canals, and roads. Where are most of the canals and roads built for this, though? Most of it's in the north, right? So you can also see why the South is not going to like this. What's the third part? Bank of the United States, the bus. Okay. So when we're looking at these different terms, we don't want to just know what it is. We also want to know things like who liked it, who didn't like it. So who liked the American system? Adams and Clay. Who didn't like it? Jackson. I'm going to say southern states don't like it. Ultimately, in the election of 1828, Jackson comes back with a vengeance. And he's bringing in new ways to run for president. Okay? Focusing on the common man, like, oh, he's just like me. He's not some rich, uppity, upperclassman person. He's just like me. They're going to do things like parades and mass marches, speeches, right? They're actually kind of like running for president. Now, Jackson's not going around and giving these speeches or anything like that. That's still seen as like taboo for a president to go out and do something like that, or a candidate to go. But it's people who work for him, right? The political parties are gaining more power during this time and more organization. So eventually, he becomes president, and he's instituting the new spoils system, where you reward those people who helped you get elected. He's going to reward people who led the speeches and the parades and the mass marches by giving them jobs in the government. It's called the spoils system. It's also called patronage. Now, a couple big events for this time. We have the nullification crisis. This is going to be one of the biggest. Where Southerners in South Carolina, it's always South Carolina, are going to protest what? What do they don't like? What do they not like? Yeah, there's a specific tariff they don't like. Do you remember what it was called? What they called it? The tariff of abominations. Wow. I don't think I've ever been so invested in a tariff to actually like give it a name, but here we are. The tariff of abominations, they don't like it because it raises prices on tariffs, which means that Southerners have to buy expensive northern goods, or now they have to buy expensive foreign goods. And so they don't like this. And so they're going to try to nullify it, which means what? They're going to ignore it. South Carolina will ignore the law, or at least they're going to threaten to. Now, Jackson is no friend of the American system, but what does he think about the nullies in this situation? Is he with them or is he against them? Yeah, Jackson doesn't like this. He's going to stop nullification. Okay, he even threatens to go down to South Carolina and hang all the traitors by the nearest tree. Eventually, they do come to a compromise with a lower tariff. But it's showing another piece of evidence of Southern states basically saying we are not going to follow this national law. What was the example we talked about yesterday of a state saying we're not going to follow a national law? The Virginia and Kentucky resolutions, where they said we're not going to follow the Sedition Acts during John Adams' presidency. So we're seeing kind of over and over again. This is an example of growing sectionalism in the United States in the 1820s and 30s, right? And you could do this throughout all the content of this time leading up to the Civil War. You could try to categorize, maybe like in a big T-chart, what's nationalism, what's sectionalism. So Missouri Compromise, tariff nullification crisis, sectionalism, right? Can we think of any examples of nationalism in like the 1820s, 18 teens? Yeah, maybe Common Man, because it's something happening nationally. If you think back to the War of 1812, have the Battle of New Orleans. where they're like, oh wow, you know, we have a war hero with Jackson, as the whole nation kind of comes together and is like, yay, go America. But it's quickly overshadowed by all the sectionalism. Okay. Well, let's talk about the bank wars. So while Jackson is kind of indifferent on tariffs, he is not indifferent when it comes to the bank. He hates the bank, right? He wants to end it because he thinks it's corrupt. So what he's going to do is he's going to try to get rid of it in the only way he can. He forces the bank to give money to his pet banks. That's what they call them. So basically, he's taking money out of the national bank and dividing it up and putting it all into all these state banks around the country. What can a bank do if it doesn't have any money? Nothing. And so the Bank of the United States is going to die. So now we have a nation's economy that does not have a centralized banking system. There's no bank in the United States. There's no Federal Reserve. So if there is economic troubles ahead, the government is not going to be able to do anything to try to fix it. It's just going to be, well, we have to live through it until the crisis is over, right? And remember, in the 1800s, the economy just goes in this boom and bust cycle. For every 20 years, chicken butt, there is a bust and a panic is what they would call it in the 1800s, where there's high unemployment, people are losing their jobs. Okay. And the last thing I want to mention here is the Indian Removal Act. Okay. Where it comes out at the end of Jackson's presidency. It doesn't actually go into effect until after Jackson's out. But this is when Native Americans are sent. Just put it on my chair. On a trail of tears to live west of the Mississippi River, right in the Louisiana Purchase area. Even though they had continuously said to Native Americans in these areas, you know, okay, move a little bit further west, and now you can stay here. You can stay here in the Appalachian Mountains. You can stay in this part of Georgia. But now they're saying, nope, you have to move out of this area completely and go west of the Mississippi River. Let's see. The Federalist Party has now died. We do have a new political party, though, at this time. Do you remember what the party is called? The Whig Party. Not only will you see information about the Whig Party in the normal outline, but there's also a section about the Whig Party somewhere later. Okay. Oh, nope. Sorry. First one was supposed to do that one, didn't do it. Never mind. Where was I? Okay, Whig Party. Remember, the Whig parties are kind of complicated because they're from all over. There's Northern Whigs and there's Southern Whigs. And some Northern Whigs are against slavery. Southern Whigs are pro-slavery. Okay, some are pro-American system, some are anti-American system. There's a lot of different opinions in the Whig Party, But there's one thing they all agree upon. What is that? They hate Jackson. They start a whole political party on the idea that they hate Jackson, which is, I guess, an okay thing to circle around while Jackson's president. But when Jackson is no longer president, and the issue of slavery is going to become more and more of a national conversation in the 1840s, that's when that party's going to run into problems, because now they don't have a Jackson figure to hate, and that will ultimately lead to the Whig Party falling. Okay. Any questions about Jackson's presidency? I kind of went over that quickly. Questions? Good. Okay, I will end the video right there.